It took me 32 years to find my lost child. Many parents, when losing their children, they will get despaired. They will give up right at the first moment when they know their children will not return. I am different from them. I always have faith in God, and God did not betray me. I am Mary. 32 years ago, I had a son nearly 3 years old who got lost. I took him away from the supermarket. Suddenly, he wanted to eat ice cream on the other side of the road. I don't want to lead Harry across the street because he's so mischievous. I was afraid he ran away in the middle of the road and asked Harry to wait. When I was buying ice cream, I had a very uneasy feeling. It took me only 5 minutes to buy ice cream, but it took more than half a life to find my son. Yes, after I returned it, went missing without a trace. Those were the worst days of my life. My husband was always there to comfort me. Me and him went searching everywhere. Day or night, I couldn't stop hoping. We went to the police, distributed leaflets, and called on social media. At first, no one was interested in my child's disappearance. I decided to spend a large sum of money to pay the favor to anyone who found my child. Social networking started booming. People were constantly sharing, and many cops called me to confirm. Thanks to that, the news of finding children was paid attention to by people. The news also broadcast on television. I went around my country looking for every corner to identify my child, but there was absolutely no hope. Things calmed down, but my children's bounty and nudes were posted regularly every day. The unbelievable thing was the call announcing that Harry had been found. I rushed with my husband to confirm my child. We have spent a lot of money all these years just to look forward to this day. When I arrived at the location, in front of me was a deserted building. My husband and I tried to knock, but inside there was no response. After a while, I heard children crying. I was worried and scared. If it's my baby inside, it's really in danger. Then I heard there was a man's voice shouted, "Send me money now, otherwise your son will die." I am very confused. My husband tried to comfort me and advise me not to be fooled, but the love of a mother does not allow me to pass up any opportunity. Although it's not my baby, its mother must be like me. I cannot be selfish to leave while the child is in danger. Suddenly, the door of the room opened and I ignored my husband's obstruction. I brought all the money I had left to him. I see the baby is tied up. His hand grabbed the kid's hair and repeatedly hit the kid. My heart hurt. He took the money and left in the night. I alone took the child out and took him to a nearby hospital. We didn't have any information about the kidnapper. I just saw that there was a weird tattoo on his hand. I had no way to identify it with the police, so I lost all my money to find my child. My husband so went bankrupt, debt. My husband, so frustrated, advised me to stop looking and accept losing my child. He said I needed to give up and start another child. But I couldn't. I didn't want to have another child. All my mind and faith was solely for Harry. Because of disagreements, we soon divorced officially. I'm lonely on the journey to find my child. When I am helpless, I can only cry and live in torment. The new miracle has opened another door for me. The baby I saved was lucky to find my biological parents after many years missing. The image of sacrificing property to save my people is widely shared by the community. I was even more motivated to look for children. In the process, I have helped hundreds of families find clues about their children. Some later times, I became a volunteer for a large non-governmental organization looking for missing children called Baby Come Home, and I helped reunite 20 families. My reputation was known more and more. I hope one day my son will see me on television or any information. I want Harry to know that I've never stopped looking for him because I love him more than anything. Recently, I received information from a young sponsor named Mark. He has donated a number of great assets to support the find of missing children for the organization. I, on behalf of the volunteer group, went to the home of that kind man to thank. When I went to his house, I saw a young man about the age of my son come out to greet me. I felt something very familiar about this boy. I saw that he was alone at home, and immediately my heart burned with hope. However, before I could ask, 2 people appeared from outside. They turned out to be his parents. They asked Mark who I was, and when they found out I was looking for a child, the other 2 expressed dissatisfaction or invited me back. Mark was disappointed and politely took me home. Sitting in Mark's car, I deliberately peeked at him. The more I looked at them, the more I insisted they were not the same. I asked Mark about his relationship with his family. He told me in happiness. Perhaps I was mistaken, so I didn't ask more questions during the course. The following day, we were completely out of touch. Not understanding what had happened, that young man soon contacted me and offered to join our organization. I am extremely excited about that. We exchanged and sought ways to help families who lost their children. The bad thing happened to Mark when he took on the task of rescuing the baby during the kidnapping. We received the information and quickly arrived at the area where the kidnapper was scheduled. However, I secretly informed the regional police. Anytime he ran away, he would be arrested. Mark drove me to the exchange location and he walked with me into the abandoned house. In front of me was a man covered with a face, but when I saw the hand with the familiar tattoo, I realized in a panic that the kidnapper from many years ago destroyed my fortune. He did not release the child after receiving the money, which worried me if he interfered with the police kidnapping. We were about to take the baby away when he quickly pulled the baby away. Mark saw this and risked his life to run to save the baby, but I didn't expect him to carry a weapon with him as a dagger. He held a knife to the baby's neck as a hostage, but he had not taken action yet. Mark quickly grabbed the knife despite his injured hand and a lot of blood. Not stopping there, the bastard stabbed a knife into Mark's stomach, causing him to fall. Police received emergency signals, immediately rushed in and rescued the child, and the abductor was also captured. Mark was promptly taken to the hospital but lost too much blood, an emergency situation, so I volunteered to go for blood test, which was coincidental because my blood type completely matched Mark, and he was promptly cured. The courageous act of Mark and I was once again supported by the community. After that, the organization decided to hold a ceremony to commend us. I was very excited about the ceremony. Filming and being broadcasted on television will help to connect with the child I am always looking for. That night, Mark and I walked into the stands, but the ceremony was completely quiet without a single person. Suddenly, the front screen glowed, and my family and my son appeared. What I could not have imagined was that at the end of the video, there was an adult image of Mark. The surrounding lights started to turn on, people came for me and congratulated me. I was at a loss for words when Mark hugged me and called me his mother. I stared at everyone. One of the head of the organization sent me a test result and a facial recognition study. It turned out everyone was silently searching for me. Thanks to facial recognition technology and blood test results, so they confirmed Mark was my son. I was curious to ask Mark about his adoptive parents, who told me that he had only recently learned he was adopted. They even intentionally concealed the truth, burned all the pictures when they were little so they wouldn't recognize themselves in the photo in search of my missing child. Mark has watched a lot of shows about me and he wants me to find him. After learning he was adopted, he joined me to find his own biological parents. We were very close but did not realize it. I was extremely happy after 32 years of waiting and misery. The good news from the police: the man who abducted the child who was last captured was one who abducted my son. Mark was moved many places and eventually sold to its current adoptive parents. How did you feel about finding my child? If it were you, would you give up? Let me know in the video comment below.